Who was the one man responsible for bringing BMW to America? Is the BMW logo meant to look like a propeller on a plane? What is the right nickname for BMW, Beamer or Bimmer? And how did the 3.0 CSL, or Batmobile as it was called, manage to have such a big wing which was against regulations? We'll answer these questions and more as we take a drive through the eventful history of BMW. It's December 9th, 1959. It's the annual general meeting of the BMW Group. Things are tense. There's a takeover bid from Daimler-Benz on the agenda. The smaller shareholders, employees, and their trade unions are against it. They argue that the company and workers have been valued too low. Finally, the meeting is adjourned without a resolution, which results in limited time offer from Daimler expiring. BMW's major shareholder, Herbert Quandt, is swayed by the workers' feelings and decides to invest more money in BMW to save the company. It's now 1961. BMW releases a new class of sedans that puts it back in the front seat as a successful modern car maker. The 1500 is praised for all-round visibility from the driving position and its large, tall luggage compartment. It's a new car for a new era. It's credited with saving BMW. Fast forward to the 70s, BMW releases the 5 Series, followed by the 3, 6, and 7 Series. The 3 Series is the standard bearer for BMW quality and its best-selling model ever. Let's take a little detour to New York to meet another important character in the BMW story. He is a New York car dealer named Max Hoffman. Max is the man who single-handedly brings BMW to America long before the company starts manufacturing in the U.S. It isn't just BMWs. Millions of Americans love European automobiles now, and way back in the 50s, they wouldn't have been able to drive those autos without the efforts of Max. In fact, his contribution is so great that he is inducted into the Automotive Hall of Fame. And strangely enough, it all starts with him introducing American cars to Europe. Max is born in Austria and works for his father's bicycle manufacturing operation. He is an amateur racing car driver. So we can see that from an early age he loves cars. He starts his career in Austria importing American expensive imports into Europe. Now it's 1938. The rise of the Third Reich has spread to Austria. Max, who is Jewish ancestry, relocates his business to Paris. But when Britain and France declare war on Germany, he crosses the Atlantic to settle in the New York area. Since the car manufacturing market has ceased in Europe, he temporarily and successfully runs a costume jewelry business. Once the war is over, he starts up a car dealer business with shops in Manhattan and Los Angeles. He tells people that European cars are at a level never seen in the U.S. He creates a massive interest in European cars. He becomes the sole importer and distributor for Mercedes, Benz, and BMW, and eventually Volkswagen. But he doesn't just sell cars. He actually influences European car makers to follow American trends. It's the 1960s. He convinces BMW to follow Americans' popular hot rod and muscle car formula to fit large engines into lightweight versions of the 2500 and 2800 sedans, and establishes a line that becomes the famed 7 Series. Fast forward to 1975. BMW buys the distribution rights from Max, who retires from the business. It's a significant year for BMW as it marks the opening of the brand's first dealership in America. The brand takes off with a vengeance. Around the same time, BMW releases one of its wildest cars ever. The 3.0 CSL is BMW's first attempt at road-going sports car. It becomes known as the Batmobile because of its big wing. It's designed for superheroes on the road. The only problem is that German law does not allow cars to have such big wings. So BMW puts the wings on the trunk so car owners can bolt it on themselves. The new BMW Motorsport division rules the European sedan racing scene for 6 years, only interrupted for a bit by the Ford Capri RS 3100. Fast forward 10 years, and the BMW M5, the high-performance version of the 5 Series, is the fastest production sedan in the world. A few years later, BMW buys Rover, and with it the Mini brand as well as Rolls-Royce. BMW releases its first sports utility vehicle, the iconic BMW X5. In 2018, nearly 40% of the brand's sales are generated by the BMW X models. BMW's star is not only one, but 3 James Bond films, including the BMW Z3, the Z8, and the massive V12-powered 750iL. By now, BMW is expanding its manufacturing facilities globally. Its first plant out of Germany is in South Africa. Just over 20 years later, BMW opens its first manufacturing facilities in South Carolina. Today, this plant is the largest BMW plant in the world. It delivered 411,620 vehicles in 2018 as global demand for crossovers soared. Let's talk about BMW's nickname in the English-speaking world. Some people in the U.S. say that Beamer should be used specifically for motorcycles and Bimmer should be used for cars. And they're exactly right. The nickname Beamer comes from the U.K. In the U.K., motorcycles were nicknamed Beezers. The term Beamer was used to distinguish BMW from motorcycles that were manufactured in Britain. Over time, the other way of spelling it, B-E-A-M-E-R, was also used. The fact it resembles beam seems to be coincidental. Americans initially called BMW cars Beamers, like the motorcycles, except the Boston chapter of the BMW Club, which called them Bimmers. Eventually, Bimmers won, and BMW cars are called by that by BMW fans all over the world. So, Beamer for a BMW motorcycle and Bimmer for a BMW car. Fans have also wondered about the origin of the BMW logo. Many fans think it is a propeller. This would make sense since the company starts out by manufacturing aircraft engines. It's also because of an ad in 1929 that depicts the BMW emblem as a propeller. The company is registered to manufacture engines for cars, boats, and planes. There's an ad for boats too, although in this one the logo looks more like a steering wheel. The truth is that the logo is actually based on the Rapp Motorworking GmbH logo. You can see the double circle is the same. Then blue checks inside the circle are the state color of the flag in the Free State of Bavaria. You'll see that on the BMW logo, the blue and white colors are inverted. This is because local trademarks didn't allow the state's flags on commercial logos. What I find somewhat pleasing is if you look at the flag of Bavaria, it looks like a blue checkered racing flag to me. What a better way to represent one of the major car manufacturing brands of the world than a racing flag. BMW has also been at the forefront of technology and innovations that make the driving experience better for drivers. In 1983, their first diesel sedan set a standard as the world's fastest series-produced diesel engines. In 1988, they brought out the first ever electronically controlled anti-lock braking system for series-produced motorcycles. In 1991, they released the first series-produced three-way catalytic converter. And the same year, the BMW E1 was the first thoroughbred electric car of the modern age. It may come as a surprise to know that BMW has been pursuing EV cars for over 40 years. The first car, the 1602E, was used in the 1972 Olympics in Munich to lead a pack of long-distance runners. Obviously, the lack of internal combustion engine saved the runners from inhaling tons of fumes. It used 12 12-volt batteries with a combined weight of 771 pounds and could only go 37 miles an hour on one charge, so it wasn't a huge success. The Ellis Electric was a secret project a few years later, followed by the BMW E1 we mentioned. Before that took a giant leap forward. It had a range of 150 miles and 2-hour rapid charging time, but didn't make it into production. BMW ran a test leasing mini electrics in 2008. Today, BMW has one of the fastest all-electric cars on the road, the Bmw i3. It goes 0 to 60 in 6.4 seconds. The still-to-be-released i4 has a range of 373 miles and reaches 62 miles an hour in 4 seconds, with top speeds in excess of 124 miles an hour. In true BMW style, the company commissioned famous movie soundtrack composer Hans Zimmer to create the sounds the car will make, because silent electric cars are dangerous, especially at low speeds. No one can hear them. He's the composer who created the soundtrack for movies like Pirates of the Caribbean and Lion King. BMW wants to make sounds that are emotional will capture both BMW's past and future. It's fun to imagine what sounds they might choose from BMW's long and colorful history. Past sounds could hint at the sound of the wind in the first BMW engine to soar on aircrafts, or the sounds of war, or the throaty growl of a V8, or the low hum of the tire on a speeding track. And what will the future of BMW sound like? Guess we'll have to wait for this BMW to come out to find out. We have more exciting car content coming very soon, so subscribe below and ring that bell to get notified of our next video.